G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. Now, why do women believe they're the prize in a relationship? Well, the belief, cultural narrative nurtured by feminism, that women are the prize in any relationship and you should be happy to have one, stems from a number of biological imperatives, historical gender roles, and the shift in modern dating. While healthy relationships require a healthy understanding of each other's roles and expectations, the problem with the modern woman, and particularly from the millennials onwards, is political indoctrination, that they are the prize and that they are perfect as they are. They don't have to change. They don't have to accommodate others, and that they're entitled to special treatment. And in fact, they consider this special treatment, these privileges, a right. Plus, a lot of people just plain old narcissists. Since the 90s, you go, girl. Girls just girls lead the way and all the other. The force is female. You name it. Affirmative action. It's just the more you pander to someone, the harder it is to not for them to not become egotistical, and that just leads to many problems. But people who create advertising slogans don't care, because the only thing they care about is making sure they have a loyal following of clientele who basically will break the bank to buy expensive toxic chemicals or expensive handbags or expensive shoes. And there is a counterculture to this. Now, before I continue, Empire Valves, that's one word, empirevalves.myshopify.com. Your one-stop shop for coffee mugs based on my writing. I also have water bottles and travel mugs, camping mugs, proper enamel camping mugs, latte mugs, with more to come. Whoops, wrong button, wrong click. See, dating apps is where it all started for in the modern era. I shouldn't say. It actually started in the 90s with dating, the dating scam. Modeling agencies would routinely run their photo book out to modeling agencies and use call centers to create phony phone dates. These women would be called up. If people had enough money, sure, they would get a date, but more and more women professionally dated. And these modeling agencies and these dating agencies fleeced millions from men, often in many countries legally, because there's no actual crime. You went to an agency, paid anywhere, I believe the average was between 100 and 500, if I remember rightly, and these women had an average of 3 to 4 dates a week, averaging hundreds of dollars a week in gifts, and that is eventually where the scam fell apart. See, in the beginning, free lunches were untaxed. When capital gains tax came in, the government started looking for revenue. And even today, a lot of these professional daters and TikTokers are still not taxed, not properly. They avoid any appearance of being a professional dater because the government will eventually tax them. But from this scam, and again, I don't know how many countries, and I actually know a bit about the dating scam because when I was doing websites, I did one for a import-export company, and in my time doing their website, yeah, they had previous companies, one of which was a dating company. Now, the other side of dating companies, of course, is prostitution, but we won't get into that. All I can say is that my boss skated on thin ice with the tax department time after time in the short period that I was running their website. And eventually, though, as things modernize and digitize, we do get to the point where women get more interest from more men than ever before in history. It becomes overwhelming for some. A woman's perception shifts over time from subtle and shy to boisterous and obnoxious, and even if it's unintentional, it's still a problem because most people should self-check their behavior. But in traditional heterosexual roles, men are expected to initiate, pursue, and propose, while women act as the choosers and rejectors. And the problem is, even, let's say, uh, attached women are not attached. The modern era has given license, and most people won't admit this, but women have way more sex than men, have way more sex with each other than men, and the average woman has way more partners than she'll admit to, and the health, both mentally and physically, of women and their lifespan is in decline. Now, of course, telling a millennial their lifespan is in decline is just met with a blank stare because they do not care about after 30. Until they reach after 30, then it's 40, then it's 50, and then when AOC is 60, I want to see her when she's 60, but I probably may not live to see it. She's not, although she's 40-ish, I may live to see her at 60 and see if she can justify why if she still thinks that people over 60 do not deserve to live. It's not political, it's her opinion. There are plenty of others out there like her too. Now, financial burdens have shifted traditional gender roles. Right. But in the traditional pursuit, historically, men had to prove their financial means to sustain a marriage. They had the social status to secure a partner. Believe it or not, it is true. A lot of lonely farmers would often come from big families. It was often the outcast of society. But when landowners started to gain premier prestige with industrialization, it's weird, I know, but big landowner farmers became suddenly quite wealthy during the era of industrialization because they could, grow food. There aren't that many people, with the vast majority not growing food, suddenly food was an expensive commodity. Wasn't cheap anymore. Still isn't relatively cheap. So throughout history, the actual gender role has changed significantly. Often in the ancient times, women preferred soldiers because they had at least a 20-year contract, therefore they had a guaranteed income from the prime of their life, though politicians, lawyers, as new professions rose and fell, the richest in society always got the most attention. It's not a modern thing. The modern era where women value the highest based on appearance and social status is a contradiction to the sisterhood's chant and communism. But as we see, the more communist someone becomes, the more materialistic they become. Their obsession with the working class and protecting the working class while grifting a fortune, while living in a $3 million mansion, or being worth $20 million, Elizabeth Warren. Now, the labour imbalance had women still viewed as the prize because now getting married was harder. And each from Gen X onwards, the rate of marriage rapidly decreased. Boomers had it all: the wife, the car, the two cars, everything, because it was cheap. But as boomers got older, wanting more benefits, don't forget, not all. It was all government funded. Remember, all those businesses. Look, government poured billions of dollars into businesses, and businesses did not pour billions of dollars back equally in tax revenue. The government. So, with the shift, with building more schools, inflation, suddenly the demand, always creating artificial demand. Every politician would want more migrants because more migrants meant more building meant more work meant more donations. And then migrant groups were making donations, and then you had all the lawyers surrounding the whole process of both importing and exporting migrants, and then job agencies. You had a lot of fingers in many pies, and this labour imbalance pushed marriage further and further away from the working class, and thus you created a now this is a problem. Women started to believe that they were unpaid domestic labour, unpaid child rearing, and of course this new rise in toxic behaviour of I'm not a man keeper, which is basically treating men like infants they have to take care of, and is somehow a burden to be married. See, this is the problem. And again, it's toxic. It's toxic behavior where women are trying to destroy each other with the most outrageous attention seeking as well at the same time. Because you look at it, right? Feminist audiences, 30K. Masculine audiences, not so much, except for a few. It's always skewed, but the average is lower. So those who want access to these life-altering benefits of having a wife were higher and higher on the financial totem pole, and this brought about women holding out. And there's a strange disconnect between Gen Z and Gen Y and Gen Zs and Gen X. Gen X, you would have males and females, admiring musicians. Gen Y worshipping musicians. Now Gen Z seems to be almost cult-like with musicians. It's getting worse, and somehow this is causing them to not want relationships. So there are other factors other than labour and the cost of living. And of course, when it comes to sociology, even some of the greatest sociologists will admit they suspect most of the people are lying to them. They just don't want to be seen in a bad light. So they take the least negative spin and just say, I haven't found the right person. I'm just not in the man. Cope and seethe, pretty much. And that is what's driving, unfortunately, right? Women have artificially put a higher price on reproduction. From an evolutionary standpoint, women physically and mentally, emotionally, need to be between 18 and 35, preferably 18 to 25 when they fall pregnant, and should have a succession of children during this period. So the panic of choosing a poor partner have women having what they call higher and higher standards. But these standards are based on superficial benchmarks. They're not asking for your criminal record. They're not taking their time to select a partner. They're not taking their time to know a partner. They're just looking at the bank balance, the dick size, and their height. Now, women are not evolved to be selective. They have imposed this on each other through TikTok and other social media, where they just sit there and mass consume the same garbage every day in very short bites, because that's all they can do, process it's why they've got no brain, no memories, because they watch slogans all for hours and upon hours. Now, physical safety concerns. There is no doubt that women seek a relationship for self-protection. The extreme violence we see on TV somehow goes over women's heads about who perpetrates it, where it's perpetrated, and they think that it's all men. Well, crime stats are never properly reported but if you look at it, it's less than, the United States is around less than 53 per 1,000 offenders. That's both male and female, by the way. And the same percentage of people over and over again commit the majority of crimes because women vote for the softest politicians. Because the softest politicians pander. And they don't just pander to women, they pander to all groups other than the white man. And so you have, over and over again, women with very skewed and very often warped senses of the reality, and they've developed the I'm a prized mindset because they see the TikTok over and over again of the same people with big wads of cash flooding women with money. And it's a very powerful psychological thing to overcome. I can talk till I'm blue in the face, and women will only see that money shower, and that's the problem. And this is all stemmed from poor education, the indoctrination in the schools. It all started with weak people who lowered their standards every year to win elections because they panicked over winning elections. I'm not talking about Nixon or LBJ here, although they are both are very prime examples of men who panicked over winning elections. And they both learned to regret their decisions. In reality, it's a worldwide phenomenon. Keir Starmer, Albo Albanese, Carney in Canada, Sheinbaum in Mexico. You look at the Colombian elections, half of their politicians just stand up and make outrageous promises. Growing up, we had Mad Magazine and Wizard of Ed. Yes, Wizard of Ed. Man, that was spot on about politicians. Yeah. The king is running for an election. Don't question it. He's just in a balloon going blah, blah, blah. And the wizard says to his bodyguard, Rodney, how does he? And Rodney says, lead shoes. And think about it. King, how does his balloon stay up? Hot air. What keeps it down? Lead shoes. It's a joke, but that's how old, right, it is, right? We're not dealing with new modern corruption, but the modernization comes through the technological reach through TikTok of psyops, and they are psyops. And in the last 10 years, we have learned more about influence campaigns by the World Economic Forum, the Soros Foundation, Open Society, and many other organizations, including Code Pink, and many other organizations who all receive millions of dollars per year, often in donations, often blackmail donations. It's called blackmail donations. These are where, particularly Code Pink, through organizations like Get Up and I'm trying to think of the other organization that BLM would organize protests, and then organizers would get their husbands or wives or brothers or sisters to go to the organizations, present themselves as a solution management corporation, which usually they're a legally registered law firm, and they would negotiate a settlement and take a huge fee, and that most of that fee would be a public donation to a feminist organization for the brownie points that last a year. You ever walked into a shop and you see the certificates? Well, that's the same thing. Every year, pay a little bit of money to buy public trust, and lo and behold, people will buy from the bakery. I've seen it. Used to live in a small town and there was only one bakery, and people used to walk past it until one day they had a little sign up with, cupcakes in the team colours and a big old donation to the local kids, sporting team, and boom, all the parents on their way to and from the school were buying cupcakes. It's just an unfortunate reality that marketing, which some people can't afford, and it all comes down to women believing they're the prize, whether they're pandered to as mothers, whether they're pandered to as working women, whether they're pandered to as for dating or marriage. It all comes down to the weakness in the culture, because these are not our cultural beliefs. These are beliefs from outsiders who sell us jewelry, cut flowers, chocolates. These are all things that don't come from our culture, belong in our culture. The gold ring, the diamond that was added to later, these are all artificially added. This is all cultural erosion. And turning women into a relationship prize is why many people believe we are in a matriarchy, because it is women who are pandered to by the law. It's women who are favoured by the law. It is women who increasingly get success simply for being a woman. You line up artificial judges, you get AI analysis, and you will see, right, women are 11% less productive, yet female YouTubers are, 233% richer or something? There's only a few rich male YouTubers, and they are extraordinarily wealthy, which again skews the numbers. It's like authors. If there's equality, why don't I get $1 billion movie deal? These people don't believe in equality. J.K. Rowling doesn't. No, once she got her $1 billion, yeah, that was it, man. You saw it. Class loyalty. She was always part of the upper class, by the way. That's why she got $1 billion and not $15 million like everyone else. And that's, by everyone else, I mean a 10. Harry Potter's only a $10 million bestseller, right? I should get $1 billion. And her movies didn't make as much money as you think they did. Don't forget, in that budget was also marketing. So that $1 billion movie, yeah, and again, if they want a movie to succeed, they just don't produce any competition to it as well. So don't think our culture is organic or our business environments are a free market. We have gatekeepers everywhere. And most of the gatekeeping done in society is cost. Remember, YouTubing used to cost a fortune to get a video camera, right? And you had to have a special encode. You had to encode your videos before you uploaded them. So be honest, and you'll open your mind, and see why men value women as the prize in a relationship, as well as books, particularly Why Men Love Bitches, popularized the I am prize mantra. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of men with low self-esteem, and the manosphere is lifting men up. And men are walking away because they suddenly realize they're the producer. They have the resources. They create the wealth. All these people with artificial wealth, they're relying on a dwindling audience, a failed business model, and increasingly, social media, I think, is reaching a bubble, These dating apps, people are moving away from them. Ultimately, we're going to see a new Gen Z onwards. And this is exactly the point, unfortunately, is that those who broke and destroyed our culture did so deliberately for political short-sighted gain, because all they wanted was more votes, more power, to prove their idiot ideology of liberalism is superior by destroying all other cultures, by using foreign cultures who hate us and all we get in return is hate for trying to save people from themselves. But ultimately, people play themselves because those who destroy cannot create. So by getting women to destroy themselves, you've seen what's happened. Women who think they're the prize destroy themselves and ultimately are the losers in the so-called gender wars. Always are and always will be losers. And that is a sad reality. Those who cannot cooperate, those who cannot value, particularly the producer. Why would men want anything from a woman when she is offering nothing of value? So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. I really appreciate those who've supported me, and I hope you'll continue to do so. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.